Hello, everyone, and welcome to another Winner Circle Sports Betting Podcast. Sean Higgs coming at you here. It's Thursday, October the 2nd. We'll be looking at a Saturday college football game. Kind of big in Florida, if you're a Florida State Miami fan. A little bit of rival there. Doug Upstone joining me. Look at this new guy. I feel like I got to put Doug in the middle and Tuck on the end because you can't have two bald guys next to each other. We'll get to Alex Smart in a second, but, like, share, subscribe, notification bell on. I'm going to try to keep this one short and sweet so we get Alex in here for first time. Notification bell's on. Free pick videos, college football, NFL, and maybe baseball playoffs next week. You never know. NBA's starting up. There's a game in Dubai. Yeah, that's great. I can't wait till they start having regular season games in Dubai. What could go wrong with that travel schedule there?
Don't forget NHL next week.
On hockey, yes. Doug, Doug's pretty good on his cold cash on the ice. Pretty good season last year, number one money guy there. Percentage, like 62% or whatever the heck he hit. But put that notification bell on. Tomorrow's a live show. Mark Lawrence, Matt Fargo, myself at 1 p.m. Eastern. The Vegas Legends on the weekend, led by Chip Trimbus with Saturday, Sunday picks. So plenty of free picks for you here on the Winner Circle. Now, our best bets, top plays, premium action, gamblersworld.net. That's where you want to be. 3-7-38 packages, as always, guaranteed. Show you profit, we credit you back. We do have the World Series special, $119. Every baseball winner through the World Series. Again, if you're going to get that, dig a little deeper. Go from like your little T-Rex arms, put a little extendo Stretch Armstrong arm into your pocket and get a monthly pass because it's guaranteed and it's all sports. It's the same amount of time, but you're going to get probably triple the amount of games. Let's be honest, right? I mean, come on, make the smart money move. 30-day package for all sports guaranteed. Now, Alex Smart joined the program. New on the video with us, but not new in the biz. We've been on some channels before, so we know each other through that route. But Alex, tell the folks about yourself here. First day on the video. Pressure's on.
Been around a long time, taking a lot of smacks on the head. So, excuse me if I'm a little bit slow today. It's been a pretty good week, but it's been a long, road in this business for me. It's been over 30 plus years. Started out as a kid, just going to the track all the time, and it's never stopped since then. It's just rolled with every sport. If it moves, I hit it. That's basically what I'm about.
Welcome, another old school, old timer guy who's been around the block for a minute. You fit right in here. As long as you talk about 80s stuff, listen, the 80s is my realm. We can't bring up kind of 80s, 90s guys. That's my neck of the woods. We leave the 70s to Doug. Anything pre-Revolutionary Wars, all Chip Trimbus, because that was his youth. So you could handle another decade. Just don't step on my 80s references.
Let's go Islanders. Yeah. We got here.
There we go. We can do it. There you go. Late 70s Islanders. There you go. And that's right up Doug's alley. Speaking of Doug, so we mentioned hockey and coming up. I know last week we were doing little tidbits kind of stuff. Anything pertaining to like NHL or NBA coming up, or I don't even know what you got for me. So I'm
playing with. I'm going as a team player here, sticking with college football for you on the tidbits. Right. I will throw out though baseball play available today. Got one play I call it an easy winner by the final score, not necessarily by the eighth inning with the Dodgers and the Reds last night on the run line. So that was good, but nice 9-2 run and longer term 90-50 in Major League Baseball. So look to keep the going through. You mentioned the package for baseball. Now would be an opportunity to hop on board on a really good run now in baseball. So check it out. Okay, and that be, by the way, Sean Higgs, who will never toot his own horn. I'm actually the one that does it for him more often than not. Here, so he had a fantastic 3-0 day yesterday. So he was good. And Alex, I did not see what you had since hopping on board, but welcome aboard. And hey, you know what? We're all here to have a little bit of fun and talk some sports.
Yeah, absolutely.
So hey, okay, so we're gonna talk about Miami and Florida State, but a couple things just to throw at you guys. First of all, Virginia off their big win against Florida State. The line has been pretty steady, but you think that unless you guys got this for a play, you think that they can put together another top-notch game going to Louisville this week? I mean, that seems like kind of a task, for them. What do you guys think about that?
I'll go with Sean because I'm completely neutral. Not sure what's going to happen.
I want to say we mentioned yesterday's results. So Alex has been here a couple days. 11-6, 64.7%. So that's what he brings to the table. 64.7% winner so far out of the gate from Alex out of Gambler's World. I think when you look at this line, a touchdown, I think it tells you what the odds makers think of Louisville in this spot, and Virginia off of that big win. Little letdown maybe. I mean, the touchdown's a big number. Virginia's showing some offense this year, and yet a full TD on actually a 7.5. To be honest, it moves up to a 7.5. Honestly, so I do like the Louisville team here with that number.
Yeah, and I would tend to agree with that. Only from the standpoint too is that I mean, what's Virginia's football history? Okay, not real noteworthy. And so you have a big emotional game like that, goes into overtime, a lot of energy expended. Yes, they get one extra day of rest, but it just seems like that would be a tough spot. Another one I got for you. What do you guys think about Cincinnati going from a plus 1.5 point underdog to a favorite against Iowa State, who Iowa State was very impressive last week in their victory over Arizona. Yet, Cincinnati went on the road and won at Kansas, gave Nebraska a heck of a game. So any thoughts on that one?
Just looking at Cincinnati just from the outside in, I haven't made a real strong decision on Cincinnati yet. And, because I think Kansas was overrated. Well, one thing I can tell you, a lot like Miami, they're strong on both lines of the scrimmage. They're difficult to play against. You just, if your head's not in the game, you're going to get wiped down. You're going to get beaten into a pulp as the game goes down. So that's something about Cincinnati I've noticed so far. Talent-wise, we'll see as the season goes on.
I think to start the year, Nebraska, nice little battle there. Definitely coach on the hot seat, but it's a veteran team. The quarterback's been in a while. You got some veteran kind of guys. I don't hate the move there. Again, Iowa State. We've said this before on the show. Who's moving the line 2 points on a Monday? It's not,
right.
Is it, hey, is it a head fake? I'd rather take +1 than -1. That seems a little odd to me. Like, I don't think guys are getting involved for 1 point middle kind of moves. That doesn't make sense to me. I know they don't we're not buying points kind of crew, but that makes zero sense. That's to me is Cincinnati's playing better, quarterback's playing better. The coach knows his job's on the line. Everything's kind of flowing together. You're home. You kind of see the home teams win. Let's be honest. Home teams usually win in college football.
Yeah. Well, you guys think it's smart money or whale money? Just like a lot of money flowing in, on perceptions rather than smart money.
I think it's more smart money. I mean, whale money on a Monday morning. Yeah, they're not betting. That's like regular people betting on Thursday night football. They're not doing that first thing in the morning.
And Sorber too. I mean, in that game against Nebraska, I mean, he really didn't play particularly well. But since then, I mean, he's just been lights out. Now, I'm not saying he's faced great defenses, which he will face this week in Iowa State. But yeah, I just thought it was a really curious line move on that one. And one final thought here. This is applying to Kansas State here. Teams to bet against a team off a road win, a road team off a win by 10 or more points against a conference foe, facing a team that's off a no cover that won as a favorite. Teams like Kansas State in that spot are 11-37. Kansas, what do you think there? Kansas State and Baylor on that one. It used to be, and it's not anymore, but Kansas State was arguably the best conference underdog in college football. They were, and so whatever home team that you were thinking of for a point spread, you subtracted a point. That's no longer the case. You think Kansas State can go on the road and play like Kansas State used to play, or has Baylor just got too much offense?
I want to say one last thing about Cincy, about that line move.
Yes.
They pulled that game out of the hat with 20 seconds left to win that game on the road. And normally you see kind of like you think that'd be like a flatter spot. Like, all right, is that going to propel them? Like, obviously people think it is going to propel them. That's just a big win. Iowa State won by 30? They kind of crushed Arizona right out of the gate, and yet the line moves. I don't know. A lot more smarter people came up with that than I did. So, K-State Baylor. What is up with this team? I like the coach, but the offense. This is
Avery Johnson. There's your problem right there. Quarterback.
He's been there for 10 years. Here's another guy, hot seat. Arenado for Baylor. He needs a win. And that doesn't mean they're going to win. But they kind of win some games like this when they have to. They did it last year. They started the same way last year and ended up winning 5 in a row down the stretch or whatever they did.
Yeah. You think they can cover 6.5 though, or 6? It's a tough one.
I'm looking. I was like, maybe like an over the way they play. Mm-hmm. No defense. Kansas State's desperate.
Kansas State defense is not great.
No. That's why I was like, you know what? You can see this being like a 30-26 or something wacky, crooked number coming up somewhere. But I didn't play this game. This one didn't pop up on my radar.
No.
Yeah, just curious. All right, take it away, Sean.
There we go. Let's get to the meat. So you got some little bonus talk there. Again, you're watching this long. Hit the like button, share, subscribe, notification bell here on the Winner Circle YouTube. And again, the free play. We are 12-10 plus $60. I don't want to blame Doug for being up $60, but he did say lay 150 as opposed to the 3 with Georgia. We ended up taking a double loss there anyway, but whatever. I'm blaming him for the bigger juice there to bring us down. We still lost with Georgia. And that's a despicable. Kirby Smart, not so smart. That's terrible performance there. That's another show. We'll talk about him when he gets fired at the end of the year. Miami.
What's going to happen?
Speaking of smart managers or coaches here, Mario Cristobal. Yeah, he's an X&O genius here. The Canes, 4-point faves here over Florida State. I had Alabama week 1. I'm sure you guys probably were on the dog there. I was like, no way Florida State's bouncing back after, last year. I thought the coach would be fired. Boston College quarterback coming talking. I mean, he played at Boston College, fella. You going to come in here and beat Alabama? Yeah, well, you did. You talk smack and you beat Alabama. And Alabama goes on the road and beats Georgia. So I got to give Florida State their just due there. Good game for them. Good win. How is this line not like a 3? Like, I can't believe it opened at like a 4.5. Seemed a little high, honestly. All right? I mean, Cristobal is like a neutralizer. He almost pissed away the game against Notre Dame. They almost lost. And you saw how good that defense was. Now, first game, jitters, stuff like that. Maybe you didn't get the best of both worlds in that game. Since then, Miami's looked as good as any team, basically, right? You could put them up there like a possible natty contender with Ohio State or Oregon, whatever you want to talk about. I think Miami's got to be in that conversation. I want to look at the under in this one. I want to look at the under. Why do I feel like not like the way Florida plays, but I can just see it being a 23-17, like low scoring. There's going to be ridiculous penalties that you're going to be throwing your drink at your TV, right? Because these kids are going to act a fool and get unnecessary roughness. And I think that could kind of skew some drives and stuff like that. But I want to go under the total. I want to go under total, Alex. What do you think about the total in this one? Or maybe you got a side on.
Well, just looking at trends here, the 6 of the last 7 years. So this is like, this is diehard, grinded out, rivalry or whatever you want to call it. And, so, games like that end up being, like you said, very physical and, maybe even methodical. You've got a team like Florida State that runs the ball well. You got a team like Miami, Florida that stops the ground game like dead. What is it? I saw a number here. 21% of rushes against Miami have gone for 0 or negative yards. 21%. That's 25 drives. So it's a 1 of 5 runs. So it's like, what? Yeah, I can see an under here. I can definitely see an under here. I can see a lot of running and a lot of stopping. Yeah.
You got Miami off their bye week, Doug. You got the extra day of rest, which again, you lose a game in overtime and giving up a lot of points, you think the coach is going to be defense. Because I'm throwing out Florida's offense. Like, oh, look at this. They're ranked number 1 offensively, 600 yards a game. Yeah, you scored 77 on East Texas and 60 on Kent. All right. Against the, let's just rein that in a little bit to who you played. You're off a bad game defensively. The other team's coming in, played well all year, pretty good on defense themselves with extra rest. It's just, Alex brings up the rushing. Basically 20% for 0 yards. Yeah, this is going to be a show release here on the under for sure, but maybe you got to side to tangle with it here.
Yeah, well, the first thing though, with all the accolades that Florida State has received for how they've turned their program around so quickly, if they lose this game, they're 0-2 in the ACC. Okay, so essentially, if they lose this game, their postseason dreams could be ended right away, despite their fast start. I watched the entirety of that Virginia-Florida State game, and the one thing that stuck out to me is that even though they didn't give up a ton of yardage, Virginia was relentless in running the ball. They ran the ball 50 times in that game. And if you're afraid of the opposing team stopping the run, you don't do that. Okay, even if you are having, let's just say, not fantastic success. I mean, they did well, 4.4 yards per carry, but still, they just kept pounding away at it. So I'm looking at Florida State's defense just overall, and maybe not as thrilled as some others are about that. And then I look at Miami. Miami has, I would say, 2 guys for sure that will be drafted at the offensive line off that team. I would say that, pretty confidently. And I mean, they have one of the best offensive lines in college football. So I think they're going to be able to run the ball on Florida State. Conversely, what Alex said about, their ability to stop the run. Also, they're very good at putting pressure on. So you take away an opposing team's run offense. Well, guess what? It's 3rd and long. You got to pass. I know Castellanos is a elusive scrambler, all of those types of things. But you know what? He can still be stopped. Okay, we saw that even at Boston College. Carson Beck looks like he's back to the guy that the year before, the 2023 Carson Beck, in terms of how he's playing at quarterback. So I like that offense. And, you can in enough situations, there's a deep ball that's open up against Florida State. Yes, they have a number of interceptions, but they can also be beat here. So I'm looking at this one. Yes, it's at Florida State. Yes, they're, excited and everything else, but I'm still looking at a team, though vastly different. They're still 2-10 last year. That still permeates to me. I just don't think you go from 2-10 to 10-2. Okay. That's my opinion on that one. So I don't have a problem. It'll come down to the 4th quarter, but I think ultimately Miami of Florida will be the team to back. And that would be where I'd put my money on in this one over Florida State, winning by, say, 7 points. And I have no problem, by the way, with either of you guys on the the under also. I agree with you.
It's a double dipper. We'll go Miami minus the 4, under 53.5, and go with this Florida team. Yeah, okay, or Florida State team. You got to say the whole word out loud here. You got the Bama win. You got the Virginia loss. You got 2 cupcakes in between. And again, the Bama win looks pretty good because of them beating Florida State or them beating Georgia. But then you look at that as a whole, them going on a road where they've lost in Alabama has lost games like this. So it's how much are they that good? 2-win team last year. And their coach, as much as I get on Cristobal, the Florida State coach got some problems himself. Let's be honest. I mean, you don't go to Florida State and win 2 games in the season. I don't care how many quarterbacks or injuries you got. That is disastrous. Yeah. That's disastrous. And as you mentioned, right, Alex, he's like, hey, look at this. We're turning around. We started the season with a big win. You're 0-2 in play, and then you look at who you got coming up like, okay, are you going to be Clemson on the road? Yep. That's not an easy one. Clemson's Florida State, except they're playing in Clemson. They got the same kind of problems going on there. Yeah. Maybe they sneak into playoffs. Maybe they sneak into playoffs with that Alabama win, right? They're gonna want to put Alabama in the playoffs. Maybe they sneak in with 3 losses. I don't know. I don't know, but what do you any final thoughts there? I could get behind taking Miami there. A little extra rest. I think they're the better team overall.
Just one caveat, and I'm sorry, I almost interrupted you. I didn't want to interrupt you, Sean, but
you just jump right in. It's all right, fella.
I was trying to remember something, but I'm looking at something here too, and just a caveat, and I'm not saying this is like extremely important, but it is important to some extent. Over the last 8 seasons, so when 2 ranked teams go against each other, I don't know if you've seen these numbers today. The home team is 204, 100 straight up. 178, 118, 8 ATS, 60% conversion rate for the home side. Historically, we're not saying, this could be part of the 40%, obviously. But, yeah, I don't know. Something to think
agree.
about.
I agree with you, Alex. I don't think you discount that, or I should say from a handicapping standpoint, I think you have to give it some consideration. There, just from my point of view, I actually like those types of things and like to, and include them in the handicapping process. I'm just looking at the 2 teams. I'm just looking head to head, and I just see at the line of scrimmage, for me at least, Miami is stronger on both sides of the ball. That's what I like. And, and if they don't turn the ball over, I just think that, again, this is not good. We're not talking blowout here. I'm thinking Miami by a touchdown, and they might be ahead by 4, kick a late field goal to win. On that one to cover officially.
The road teams covered 15 of 19 in the series. The road team's taken 15 of the last 19. So.
That's one of those goofy ones. That you see in college football. That's goofy. Go ahead, Sean. I'm sorry.
I would say the rank trend is nice. I like that, especially. Listen, if you like Florida State, it's more reason to like them. You got the home dog. You got the trends in your favor. You got a rivalry. It's going to be some kind of this isn't Florida State in 95 versus Miami, who's got 38 scholarships taken away, and it's a blowout there. You know what I'm saying? It's not that – those aren't those teams. You know what I'm saying? These are like the late 80s and 2000 teams where they're recruiting the same kids and it's even. So, I'm biased towards my Canes. Hello, Schnellenberger signed mini helmet. I'm an old school Canes guy. I like the the 80s Canes or whatever. But good spot there with the pull on the ranked teams. That's something I always like to look at because the rankings are one thing, but then you get into what the bookmakers think, and it's like, oh, interesting. Oh, you're a writer, and you didn't know that Florida lost to South Florida, and you still put Florida in the top 10. Interesting, those people always interest me.
I didn't. Now, are you a Canes fan of sorts? Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. So the reason I bring that up is because we've never had this discussion. Is I can think of one game in South Bend that was played at one time, as I recall. I forget who won that game. I remember somebody whining about losing, but that's all.
Call a fumble when it should have been a fumble. That game,
but of course it wasn't, so it doesn't matter.
Ground can't cause a fumble. It's still ground still can't cause a fumble.
And in fact, now as we get older, we let things go, but not everything. And so to this day, I have never forgotten. I think it was Jerry Faust's last game at Notre Dame when Miami had 56-7. They went for a blocked punt against Notre Dame at home, and they got it, and they got a touchdown out of it. It's like I never forgot that. There's been many things.
You know what? And I'm sure a lot of fans who weren't Notre Dame fans, when Notre Dame was curb stomping people, beating Navy, people who are serving your country 77-6. I'm sure those guys really felt really good. Nobody cared. Oh, we're Notre Dame. We gotta beat you up. Sorry that Miami had to come in and that is why that 30 for 30 with you is so good, because he's like, you know what? Open up the books and look at Oklahoma and USC and Nebraska and Notre Dame. They were doing this to teams for 20 years and nobody cared. But all of a sudden Miami does it to Notre Dame, and it's how can you do this to the guy? He's coaching his last game. Well, you know what? Hey,
I have no problem.
Run up the score.
I have no problem at all. 56-7. They were superior. I'm just saying, going for a block punt up with that score. That's all I'm saying, and I'll take that to my grave, just so you know.
So my Miami roots go back to my grandfather, Coach Rick Barry, and sent him to Miami, and my uncle was like a student player coach on the basketball team back in the day, back in for the Hurricanes.
Yes.
And so there's that. Who and back then, like my mom went down. She didn't go to Miami. She went to another school in Florida where she met my dad. But they always talk about like Miami back then. It was just like it was really like cow country. There was like just farms and orange groves, and it wasn't like Miami. Like we think Miami now, we're like, hey, look, Will Smith and the Heat, and no, it wasn't like that back then.
Really, it still isn't because what is there like 11,000 students? I think is what the total population, and it is very expensive to go there. It's
a private college.
Yeah, that's pretty amazing. By the way, I'll give you one quick story. So remember when Dennis Erickson went there? Okay, when he became coach. So he got down there and he brought all these guys from Oregon State, or wherever he was at. Washington, it wasn't Oregon State, but
the Washington guy.
Yeah, whatever it was. But he goes down there. So they have their first practice, just introducing everybody and stuff like that. And I remember hearing the story because somebody else told it. So they go back into the coach's office and stuff like that. And Erickson goes, "Are you freaking kidding me?" He goes, "There's this many talented players on one team and we're coaching them? You got to be kidding me." I love that story.
I love the 30 for 30s. He's in the video. He's like, I got here. He's like, I've never seen anything like it before.
Yeah,
he's like, and he's like, they gave Erickson the keys to the Porsches. They don't crash it. He's like, let us just do. The player's like, let us do what we got to do. We'll win for you. And they just came out and won.
Yeah. They had so much talent. Oh my goodness. Anyways,
man, crazy team back then. Crazy team.
You guys just put me into a time machine. You just you made me travel back. You made me recognize how old I really am.
Well, no, the fact that you recognize know what we're talking about.
I saw that on ESPN. I went and I ordered the DVD so I could watch it all the time. It's because it was just a different time of football back then, and you watch it, it's like, oh my goodness, like you forget. All right, we got off track here a little bit, like we always do. Welcome to the show. If you're first time here, get used to that. We always gonna go somewhere off the rails a little bit, but it's always fun. Good conversation here. All right, the free picks are the free picks. We are 12-10 plus $6 with the free picks. You want our best bets, our top plays? Head on over to gamblersworld.net right now. We got the 3 738 packages are up, guaranteed. Show your profit or we credit you back. Day passes, $69.99. That's fine and dandy as well. Excellent on weekends when there are multiple passes up. Right now, I'm looking at Alex here. We got postseason best bet of the day. It's a total play. Listen, you'll see this on Thursday, but you'll see it on Saturday. Come back and look because there'll be 4 baseball games on Saturday because they're taking Friday off. So you'll get a full slate of MLB playoffs. Phillies Dodgers is the only one I got set right now. So we'll know who knows what's going to happen afterwards.
Cubs Brewers.
Cubs Brewers. Best bet from Alex in MLB today, and also his NFL Thursday night total. Doug Upstone, college football best bet up already, and a wild card game 3 best bet 9-2 run, 90-50 runs on the basis from Doug. So those premium action, go get them. I have NFL and college up for Thursday and Friday already, and we'll be adding my package for the weekend. But your freebies, here we go. Under 53.5, Miami, Florida, and Florida State. And if you want to parlay it because you like going 1-1, and take Miami minus the 4. And I say that jokingly because, we don't like that to push parlays, straight big. If you go 1-1, you're losing the vig. If you go don't get enamored with the parlays. They look great. You load them up on your phone or your computer. Like, oh, look at this. Look at this, $5, and I'm making the $280 or $100, and it's $1,600. Yeah, all right. Good luck. That's all I got to say. Straight. We're going 2-0 anyway. So go parlay them up. I don't care. We're winning. We put these out. We're going to win. Miami minus the 4. Miami, Florida State under 53.5. And there you go. Enjoy your Thursday night games. Bet this game on Saturday. Best bets up at Gamblers World. Alex, Doug, myself. Good luck, everybody. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.